Alright folks, buckle up because today we're diving into the wild, wonderful world of Oblivion Remastered. And more specifically, the skills that are so insanely overpowered, they basically turn you into a walking cheat code. We're not just talking about strong here, we're talking full-blown Tamriel-breaking abilities. These are the skills that let you bend reality, trivialize bosses, and leave NPCs wondering if they should even bother showing up to the fight. Whether you're looking to vaporize enemies with a single gesture or sprint across Cyrodiil faster than a courier on skooma, these are the tools of the true Metamancer. Now, what makes a skill truly busted in Oblivion Remastered isn't just raw numbers, it's how much you can exploit the system with it. We're talking mechanics so broken that even Mehrunes Dagon might take one look and say, "Yeah, I'm good, I'll come back later." From enchanting loopholes to stealth shenanigans and beyond, these skills don't just help you survive, they let you dominate, humiliate, and moonwalk your way through the toughest challenges the game can throw at you. Let's get into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. Mysticism might not look like much at first glance, right? I mean, when people talk about overpowered skills in Oblivion Remastered, they usually go for destruction's fireballs or sneak-based one-hit kills. But hold on a second. Mysticism is that quiet genius in the corner of the room. It does not need to shout. It just knows it can bend the rules of the game in ways no other school of magic can. And once you figure that out, oh, things get crazy. Let us talk about Reflect Spell and Spell Absorption for a moment. These are not just defensive spells. They are no-use spells. A boss-level mage winds up this massive soul-burning doom blast and hurls it your way. Any other skill would have you diving behind a pillar, chugging potions. But with Mysticism, you just stand there and send it right back like a magical Uno reverse card. And if it does not bounce, Spell Absorption might just eat it and refill your magicka instead. You literally turn enemy magic into fuel. Now here comes the real secret sauce, Soul Trap. Anyone serious about enchanting knows this spell is mandatory. It turns Mysticism into a long-term investment. Every enemy you defeat becomes a power-up. Kill a bandit, trap their soul, and suddenly your enchanted sword gets more juice. No more running out of charge mid-fight. No more trips back to the Mages Guild. Just soul after soul, keeping your gear locked and loaded like a magical battery pack. And that is the beauty of Mysticism. It is not about showing off with flashy spells or brute force. It is about control. It is about planning ahead, using the game's mechanics against it. Combine it with some enchanted loot and a high-intelligence stat, and suddenly you are not just surviving the world of Oblivion Remastered, you are breaking it in the smartest way possible. Mysticism is the thinking player's secret weapon, and once you master it, there is no going back. Let's talk about Alteration, the skill in Oblivion Remastered that quietly walks into the room, reshapes reality like it is made of clay, and leaves the other schools of magic wondering what just happened. It is not flashy like Destruction or mysterious like Illusion, but Alteration. Alteration is practical. It is like having a Swiss Army knife, except the knife is magical, and it can literally tell a locked door to open itself. Why waste time with the security skill when you can just cast Open Hard Lock and stroll in like you own the place? But Alteration is not just about opening doors. It is also about closing the door on anything that dares to hurt you. Shield spells in this school can stack up armor ratings faster than you can say Aegis, the master level spell that turns you into a walking tank. Physical attacks start to feel like mosquito bites, which is great when you are diving into dungeons and everything wants to stab you. Forget investing in heavy armor. Alteration has your back, literally. Then you have spells that completely mess with the environment. Water walking lets you sprint across rivers and lakes like you are some kind of fantasy messiah. No more swimming with slaughterfish biting at your ankles. And Burden is hilarious when you throw it on enemies mid-fight. Suddenly, they are crawling around like they are wearing 1,000 pounds of cheese wheels. It is one of those spells that feels like it was made just to mess with the game's physics engine. And of course, we have to talk about the feather spells. Every player has had that moment where they are deep in a dungeon, their inventory is overflowing, and they are forced to choose between loot and mobility. Not with Alteration. Cast a quick feather spell and suddenly you are picking up everything. Silverware, full suits of armor, ancient artifacts, without slowing down. Alteration basically tells the game's weight system, no thanks, I am good. It is one of the biggest quality of life boosts in the game. And honestly, that alone makes Alteration one of the most overpowered skills in Oblivion Remastered. Alright, let's talk about one of the most broken skills in Oblivion Remastered, Restoration. Now I know what you are thinking, healing magic, right? Pretty basic stuff. Just patch yourself up after a fight and keep moving. But Restoration is not just your magical first aid kit. This skill has some absolutely game-breaking tricks up its sleeve, and if you are sleeping on it, you are missing out on a whole different level of power. What makes Restoration completely overpowered is not just the healing spells, though instant recovery mid-fight is always nice. The real insanity starts when you get into Fortify spells. With the right custom spells, you can temporarily crank your strength, intelligence, or any other attribute through the roof. Need to carry a full dragon's horde back to town? Fortify strength. Want to spam spells like an arcane machine gun? Fortify magicka. You can literally fix any weakness in your build or skip past a skill requirement just by buffing yourself on demand. And it does not stop there. Restoration also gives you access to absorb health spells, which are straight up unfair. You are not just hurting your enemy, you are healing yourself at the same time. It turns combat into a one-sided affair. You take damage, you steal it back. You get hit, you hit harder. It is like fighting while constantly drinking health potions, except you are also punching the other guy in the face every time you take a sip. So yeah, Restoration might look innocent, but once you start playing around with it, you realize it is basically the I win button of Oblivion Remastered. Whether you want to be a tank, a mage, or some kind of hybrid monster, this skill gives you the tools to break the game in your favor. Just remember, willpower is the governing attribute, so build around it, and you will become, quite literally, unkillable. Alright, let us talk about one of the most ridiculously overpowered skills in Oblivion Remastered, Conjuration. If you have ever thought, why should I do all the dirty work myself? Then congratulations. You are already halfway to becoming a master conjurer. This skill is all about summoning powerful allies to fight your battles for you. And here is the kicker. Those summoned monsters, they do not scale with the difficulty slider like your enemies do. That means while you are getting slapped around by bandits on higher difficulties, your summoned Daedra Lord is still absolutely demolishing everything in sight. It is practically cheating. Glorious, glorious cheating. But the fun does not stop there. Conjuration also gives you access to bound weapons and armor. Now, if you are not familiar, these are Daedric level gear that weighs absolutely nothing and can be summoned on demand. So even if your character has the upper body strength of a wet noodle, you can still swing a Daedric Claymore like a champ. It is a dream come true for mage builds, especially those who do not want to bother with strength or heavy gear management. You show up in a robe, conjure up a full battle set, and boom! You are ready to tank with the best of them. And the versatility? It is wild. Need a distraction while you sneak past enemies? Summon a skeleton. Want someone to draw aggro while you nuke enemies from a distance? Call in a Storm Atronach. Feeling spicy and want to flood the battlefield with creatures? Go ahead. Oblivion will let you stack summons with the right perks and items. You can turn even the toughest encounters into complete chaos. It feels less like a fair fight and more like you are the final boss walking into the wrong game. At the end of the day, Conjuration is not just powerful, it is fun. It turns you into a battlefield commander, calling shots and letting your minions do the heavy lifting. Whether you are summoning undead to swarm a dungeon or pulling out a flaming sword from thin air, there is a sense of style and control that no other school offers. If you want to feel like the smartest and most dangerous person in the room, Conjuration is your ticket. Just do not be surprised when the game starts to feel a little too easy. Destruction magic in Oblivion. Remastered is not just powerful, it is completely broken in the best possible way. If you are the kind of player who likes to walk into a room and turn every living thing into a pile of ash before they even realize what is happening, this school of magic is your best friend. It is all about raw damage, and once you learn how to stack the right effects, you are not just casting spells, you are launching tactical nukes. One of the most insane tricks with destruction magic is combining weakness to magic with weakness to element, and then following it up with a high-powered elemental spell. It sounds simple, but the result is ridiculous. The weaknesses stack in a way that multiplies your damage rather than just adding to it. So instead of hitting someone for 100 points of fire damage, you are suddenly doing 300 or more, and that is before any gear or perks come into play. It is like finding the cheat code to burn through the game's hardest enemies. And let's talk about those high-level spells for a second. Blizzard and Flame Tempest are not just flashy names. They are literal room-clearing spells. You walk into a fort packed with bandits, one cast, and the only thing left is the echo of your spell bouncing off the walls. These spells do not care about balance or fairness. They exist to remind you that, with enough willpower, you are basically a one-person apocalypse. What makes destruction magic even better is its versatility. Fire is perfect for dealing with the undead, especially those pesky zombies that just will not stay down. Shock magic fries enemy mages before they can even lift their hands. And frost? Great for slowing down fast-moving threats. No matter what kind of enemy you are facing, there is a destructive spell that will ruin their day. It is loud, it is chaotic, and it is unbelievably satisfying. Destruction is not just a playstyle, it is a lifestyle. Let us talk about one of the most ridiculous, most broken, most hilariously overpowered skills you can use in Oblivion Remastered. Sneak. Yes, sneak. That quiet little skill that starts off all shy and unassuming, until you realize it can turn you into a walking nightmare in a hood. If you like the idea of ending fights before your enemy even knows you are there, keep listening, because sneak might just become your favorite way to break the game. Here's the thing. At the apprentice level, sneak gives you a massive 6 times damage bonus for melee attacks while undetected. That means your rusty iron dagger suddenly hits like a warhammer blessed by the gods. You can literally walk up to most enemies and delete them from existence with one hit. It is not even a fight, it is a silent, surgical execution. And because you are sneaking, you are probably not getting caught either. But it gets even better. If you manage to reach the master level in sneak, things just go off the rails. That perk lets your sneak attacks completely ignore armor. Completely! It does not matter if your enemy is wearing enchanted Daedric plate from head to toe. Your butter knife is still going straight through like it is slicing bread. Suddenly you are not just stealthy, you are unstoppable. You are a ghost with a death wish, and nobody is safe. And beyond the damage, sneak is all about control. You decide when to fight. You decide when to vanish. You can clear entire dungeons without being touched, or just walk past every enemy like they are not even there. It is not just about being deadly, it is about being untouchable. If you are tired of clunky brawls and drawn-out battles, sneak is your ticket to becoming a god of silent chaos. If we are talking about the most overpowered skills in Oblivion Remastered, we have to start with Alchemy. It might not sound flashy at first, no giant fireballs or stealthy backstabs, but trust me, once you dive into this skill, you are basically turning into a god with a cauldron. Alchemy lets you take basic ingredients, like a mushroom and a flower, and turn them into potions that completely break the game's balance in your favor. Want to be unkillable? Brew a healing potion that restores your health faster than any enemy can chip away at it. Seriously, once you get the hang of it, you will wonder why you ever bothered with swords or spells in the first place. What really makes Alchemy shine is how versatile it is. You are not just limited to healing. You can whip up poisons that paralyze your enemies, drain their health, lower their resistances, and even make them more vulnerable to magic, all in one bottle. That is like bringing a Swiss Army knife to a sword fight. There is a potion or poison for literally every situation. Fighting a mage? Drain their magicka and silence them. Need to sneak past a tough enemy? Brew an invisibility potion. Alchemy turns you into a one-person problem-solving machine. And here is the kicker. Leveling Alchemy is super easy. You do not need to slay dragons or complete a dozen quests. Just grab a bunch of ingredients, mash them together, and watch your skills skyrocket. You can mass-produce simple potions and still gain experience rapidly. Before you know it, you are crafting elixirs that boost your strength, speed, intelligence, you name it. Once you learn how to stack those effects, you can basically buff yourself into a demigod for every fight. Oh, and do not forget the unique advantage of Alchemy: Fortify attribute potions. These are not just minor boosts, we are talking serious game-changing stat increases. Want to hit like a truck? Fortify your strength. Need to outrun anything on the map? Fortify your speed. Combined with other effects, these potions let you sculpt your character into whatever you want, whenever you want. Alchemy is not just a skill in Oblivion Remastered. It is a cheat code hiding in plain sight. Alright, let us talk about one of the most ridiculously overpowered schools of magic in Oblivion Remastered, Illusion. If you have ever wanted to completely break the game in the most hilarious and sneaky way possible, Illusion is your golden ticket. This is not just a support skill or something you sprinkle into your build for a little flavor. No, this is a full-blown reality warping toolkit that can turn you into a ghost, a puppet master, and a chaos conductor all at once. And the best part? It all scales with personality, so you are charming and unstoppable. Now let us talk about the real crown jewel, the 100% chameleon effect. Unlike invisibility, which disappears the moment you do anything useful, like attacking, casting, or even sneezing, chameleon sticks around no matter what. With the right combination of enchanted gear and spells, you can hit 100% chameleon, making you completely undetectable. I mean completely. You can walk right up to a guard, steal the gold out of his pocket, and then slap him on the back before walking away. He will never know you were there. And if being invisible is not enough, how about turning your enemies against each other? That is where the Frenzy spell comes in. Imagine walking into a room full of Daedra. Sounds like a death sentence, right? Not if you are an illusion master. Just cast Frenzy, and suddenly those terrifying monsters are tearing each other apart while you stand in the corner sipping a health potion and watching the chaos unfold. It is like being the director of your own horror movie, but you are completely safe behind the scenes. Illusion in Oblivion. Remastered is not just powerful, it is game-breaking in the most fun way possible. Whether you want to be a ghost in the shadows, a manipulator of minds, or the ultimate prankster of Tamriel, this is the school of magic for you. If you are not using Illusion in your playthrough, you are honestly missing out on some of the most entertaining and outrageous moments the game has to offer. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.